Hello, everyone. Thank you again for joining me today. And today I want to talk about the problem that we have as Kaizer Chiefs, our midfield. And before I talk about our midfield, I just want to read some of your comments from yesterday because some of them they have something to do with the topic that we're talking about today. So if we go to the comments here, we start with the comment ka Glenn who says, on the issue ga John Committees, he says, I honestly believe that John Committees seems to have a bone to pick with Kaizer Chiefs, and that he also does not want to sell to Chiefs. He will always be salty about the COVID debacle. On another note, Usfiso Mbelu, on another note, how could Chiefs management go all out to buy players if Zwane himself keeps saying he has a well-balanced team? Even a 10-year-old can see that Chiefs does not have a quality defensive midfielder, but Zwane keeps saying Matt and Sitebe are there to do that job. Zwane's inexperience and perhaps stubbornness will be his downfall. And then Samuel Rahai says, Evening Pilo and other guys. On Terence Mashiro, I knew that John Comatis won't sell his players to Kaizer Chiefs. Remember that this guy, he's not happy with Kaizer Chiefs over that COVID-19 matter thing to replay that match, and he got fined for refusing to play the match and all that. That's why he even increased ticket prices of Chiefs to 100 rands. So you must watch this guy when coming to Chiefs. Now, I think there is a part of me that knows Uguti. These guys are like John Cometes, whatever his name is or how you pronounce it, is that there is a certain element Yoguti they don't like Chiefs for whatever reason, because I don't think this thing is only limited to Cape Town City. We saw the same thing also happened with Irwale Mbengafuni no who's this guy Victor Letswalo agcine udlala kuyisekhukhune of all teams, and yet Chiefs does not have a striker. So someone actually commented ukuthi there's a cartel working hard to make sure ukuthi Chiefs does not get players. But jokes aside, I do think there's just that thing. Your good people just don't want to sell their players to Chiefs for whatever reason, or maybe they try to get more money out of Chiefs by making these things public and then making Chiefs look like idiots. And also there's also the part Yoguti Chiefs just doesn't want to pay. So that's also a factor. And and vele ke ngifuna ukukhuluma about that issue ye midfield yethu ukuthi we've seen ukuthi i-Chiefs i-system yethu esidlalayo either 4-2-3-1 or 4-3-3, we are kind of divided kwathina singabalandeli, because some honestly believe ukuthi Matt Hatebe Matt Matlow and Stebe are defensive midfielders. Can I just say humbly, I disagree with those people, because I think they do have that element of their game. I would classify them more as box-to-box midfielders rather than just defensive midfielders. I'm a box-to-box midfielders. I can make an example like a person like Paul Pogba, another controversial figure, polarizing figure, because ngizokwenza example with the squad se-France asawina i-World Cup 2018. You have mawudlala a double pivot. You have a player like N'Golo Kante ongagijima 120 minutes aphinda adlale enye game at the highest level angakhathali, because that's how good he is. And you have someone else who's a box-to-box midfielder, because uyakwazi ukuyocollect iball emumva mayefuna, but une-freedom yokuthi ahamba ephambili without worrying about what's happening at the back, because he has someone like Kante who's going to cover spaces. Kanti kwi-Chiefs, you have players who are both not specialists in that position. So you have a Sitebe who's not a specialist defensively, and you also have a Matt who's not a specialist defensively. So they can defend, but that's not their specialty. And because it's not their specialty, that means they need to be extra careful with their defense. And because of that, they end up sitting deep to make sure ukuthi they don't open imbob. I'm going to sound like a broken record on this ukuthi I did say ukuthi Umat, for example, there was a time like Petekon ball in our game against the Galants where he got the ball and he was moving it like a tungi ball pambil, and then what check over his shoulder wabona ukuthi akusekho umuntu kwi-6, and then he had to go back and cover that space, leaving uSolomons without an option to pass the ball. And because he did that, now imovie yethu kuya phambili isiphazamisekile, which is something that will continue happening if we're playing two players who are not like specialists in a certain position. They are box to box. Kunomdlali onjengoNkosingphile Ngcobo. uNkosingphile Ngcobo is not a box to box midfielder machine, and mhlambe that's something that's working against him at this point, because yena he's more useful mawuzomthatha on the other side of center line. Ila azothola khona ibhola, adrift the Tom half space, a collect ibhola bese khatha ini, it's iruse picky passy or uyakhahlele epaleni or dribble past people, but he can do that. That's his game. He drives with the ball forward. And these other guys that he plays with, they can go back and come forward, but they don't have freedom to do that, because when they did that with a lot of freedom, they ended up losing to Sundowns 4-0, which was not really as a result of how the midfield was playing on the day. But it's the thing, yoguthi even one of the things that we can talk about is how we were conceding ama-goal. Some people are talking about ukuthi ama defenders ethu, they end up passing ibhola backwards because our midfielders ama-6 ethu 2, they start so further up the field that our defenders end up having to pass the ball backwards, because akekho umuntu who's dropping from midfield to collect the ball. Why is that the case? Again, speciality sabo asikho, ukuthi nje bona they move from one box to the other box. And manje ngenxa yokuthi kunalento yokuthi okay, we need the ball to get further up, and boba u2 akazi omunye ukuthi bawuzolanda ibhola njengamanje yimi noma hu. And if there is that constant thing yokuthi ubani olanda ibhola manje, bazogcina behambe bobabili, and then sekumele kube ne communication, hayibo go collect, and by the time umtshela ukuthi akayo collector, ungezana usebhedile usephasela ibhola ukhiphe lingasile. And it's not only been ungezana kuphela, we've seen this thing yokuthi our players have been constantly, our defenders have been consistently playing the ball back to the keeper, and then igcina kwenzeka some kind of a mistake. So if you look at a team like Spain, again I'll make an example because bawini World Cup like South Africa, we had a player like Sergio Busquets, number 6, collecting the ball from Casillas and then moving the ball to Xavi might hold ball, it's uzoshaya long ball ezo collector one of the wingers, either ezo collector or Villa ngale kwa left or Pedro ngale kwa right or Fabregas or whoever is playing on that day, he's okhala. And then if they are not choosing that long pass because Xavi is more of a passer, then you have Iniesta bazomnikeza ibhola, who's then going to progress the ball or drive with the ball forward because that's his specialty. But mawuthatha ukubheka 3 arguably the best midfield in the world to ever play together, but different. They were not the same. All of them boba utriba bekwazi ukupass iball, but kwakwazi ukuthi uBusquets who's likely to drop and collect the ball, and then uXavi uzothatha ibhola kuBusquets athi ukudlala usedlala noIniesta ama-1-2, and then Iniesta can drive with the ball. You understand? So thina weva uMatlo wenza into eyodwa yenziwa uSithebe wenza into eyodwa yenziwa uMathi, and because of that our midfield ku-redundant because they are all doing the same thing, trying to turn with the ball and pass the ball wide. Akekho ozothatha ibhola eswini avela drive nalo forward, and because of that kugcina sekubukeka ngathi abazi lutho, and it's because if bekuthiwa it's one person doing that job, then bekuzoba nenkinga. Singena kuma solution ke manje, and one of the solutions is that if you've been watching this video up to this far, you're probably enjoying it, so please leave a like, and if you are not subscribed, please do subscribe. Give you a second to do that. Yes, thank you. Now, who can solve our midfield issue? That's also the question of the day. Who can solve our midfield issue? Here is my humble opinion and thinking. If we were to take Unjabulo Plum and play him as a number 6, we have seen this. He's the only player oseke wadma engena countless times engene ezodlala as number 6 yawasolve ama-problems ethu. Wafika sidlala ne-Richards Bay wadlala kuleya position wadominate. Ngizokuthatha way back even sadlala kwi-Champions League when he was being played as a number 6, he bossed that position. Last season sidlala ne-Arrows wayekade edlala esiswini wasuka esiswini wodlala kwi-right back angena amanzi ngomsele. Arrows yaqala manje yabona imbobo esiswini. That's because of how much work Unjabulo can do clear midfield position, because it doesn't allow players to just get the ball and be free. He can close down spaces. He can make opponents uncomfortable on the ball. Uyazi nje vele ukuthi having also a background yokuthi ubedlala as a defender, uyazi ukuthi umuntu makwa kanjani, uyadispossesswa kanjani, igame ifundwa kanjani, and that gives him the edge over any other player that we have. And also omunye umuntu who could play that position was Cole Alexander, but the problem is he will not give you a full 90 minutes, and secondly, he's not good on the ball as much as Plum is, so you don't really have much that you will get from him. And also, not to mention the fact that we are also trying to build, so you might as well teach Plum to play that position, to make that position his from now. Talking about a striker like Robert Lewandowski, Uguti, back in 2004, I think, or 2006, he was playing as a defender. They changed his position, and now he's playing as one of the best strikers in the world. No, maybe Zilege last night, but that's besides the point. The point is, Plum can be our solution to midfield, because once Omdlal says number 6, then you are giving a freedom to Matt Nostebe to move forward. If Ubadlal Saboba 2 as 8. But then I would suggest to have different players in our midfield trio. Play Plum deep. We know he combines well with Umshini, and then play Umshini as the other player who's there, one driving with the ball forward, and then play either Ustebe or Umat to be the passer of the ball. So now you have a balance. You have a destroyer, you have the passer, and then you have the one who drives forward with the ball and can also pass. So you have a variation in midfield yakho, and as well mawusuba shintsha ngesecond half usuyazi ukuthi okay usukhipha Umat ufaka Ustebe, so like for like mawukuthi like for like, and then mawukhipha umngcobo uNkosingiphile usuyazi ukuthi usufaka uMatlo, someone osezothatha ibhola and confront the opposition like for like again, or ufaka uSabelo naye who can drive forward but can also pass the ball. So it's all these things engibonayo mina ukuthi that's how our midfield issues can be solved. But guys, I can't wait to hear what you guys have to say down on the comment section. Leave your comment. I will be there to respond to your comments. Thank you for watching. I will see you on the next one, and until next time, remember, equals I'll pay you more.